Good evening. We'll call this meeting to order for the August 10th, 2023 Apple Valley City Council meeting. For any audience members who have signed up to speak, when your name is called, please come forward and approach the podium to address the council. First item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd ask everyone to rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The second item on our agenda this evening is to approve the agenda. And Tom, I don't believe we have any changes.
Mr. Mayor, we do not.
All right. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Goodwin and a second from Councilmember Grendel. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries. The next item is our audience participation portion of the meeting. This is for items not on the agenda. We did not have anyone sign up, but we would offer, if there's anyone in the room who would like to speak to an item not on the agenda, this would be the time to do so. All right. Seeing no one, we'll move on to the consent agenda. These items are considered routine and will be enacted with a single motion unless a council member or citizen requests to pull an item. Council members, any items you'd like to pull from consent? Anyone in the audience? All right, seeing none, we would take a motion for the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Melander, a second from Councilmember Bergman. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent items carry unanimously. That brings us to item 5A on the regular agenda, which is Lunds Food Holdings LLC, 15550 English Avenue, and staff has this one for us. Please go
Good
ahead.
evening, Mayor, members of the council. Lund Food Holdings Incorporated, doing business as Lunds and Byerlys, has submitted an application for an on-sale wine and 3.2% malt liquor license. The licenses are for premises located at 15550 English Avenue. The plans show the restaurant portion will seat approximately 85 people, and 2 patios will serve 47 people. The applicant's target opening date is September 14th. The application indicates the officers are Russell Thomas Lund III, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer, and Von Paul Martin, Chief Administrative Officer. Section 11124 of the City Code requires all applicants for an on-sale wine and malt liquor to have a public hearing prior to issuance of the licenses. On July 13th, City Council set the public hearing for this evening. Proper notice was posted and published in the city's official newspaper, and the affidavit of publication is on file. No comments have been received from the public to date. The police and fire departments have completed the necessary background and site investigations and find no reason the licenses cannot be authorized at this time. There are 2 items before you this evening. First is the public hearing, and second, pending comments from the public hearing or questions from the council, action on the resolution authorizing issuance of on-sale wine and 3.2% malt liquor licenses subject to the receipt of all necessary documents. Representatives from Lunds and Byerlys are here this evening, Mr. Pat Yorick and Ms. Anissa Gerstel. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Thank you. Well, are there any questions? With not, we will start with the public hearing. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this item? Anyone who would like to speak to the public hearing on item 5A? All right, one last opportunity. We will close the public hearing, and I would look for a motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Bergman and a second from Councilmember Goodwin. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. Thank you. We'll move on to 5B, and this is the Stephanie show this evening. We can invite, if you guys want us to come up and say anything, you're welcome to. Feel free.
Good evening, everybody. We simply wanted to say hello as new neighbors, and we are so excited to be a part of the community. Pat and I have worked closely together for a number of years on a number of our food and beverage entities at Lunds and Byerlys, and we are thrilled to be members of the community and to be joining this beautiful city in this regard.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
It's a wonderful store.
It will be beautiful, and we're excited to be part of this community. We have a wonderful leader in place, and we're just, again, we're thrilled to be here. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being new
Wonderful
neighbors.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Excellent.
Thank you. Yep.
You bet.
All right, Stephanie, you want to take item 5B?
All right. Ichiddo Ramen Apple Valley LLC, doing business as Ichiddo Ramen, has submitted an application for an on-sale wine and 3.2% malt liquor licenses. The licenses are for premises located at 7875 150th Street West. The restaurant opened in March of this year and decided to add alcohol. The plans show the restaurant seats approximately 56 people. If approved, the licenses will be effective October 1st. The application indicates the owners are Chloe Lee and Shubing Wang. Section 11124 of the City Code requires all applicants for an on-sale wine and malt liquor to have public hearing prior to the issuance of the license. On July 13th, City Council set the public hearing for this evening. Proper notice was posted and published in the city's official newspaper, and the affidavit of publication is on file. No comments have been received from the public to date, and the police and fire departments have completed the necessary background and site investigations, and by no reason the license cannot be authorized at this time. There are two items before the council this evening. First is the public hearing, and second is pending comments from the public or questions from the city council. Action on the resolution authorizing issuance of on-sale wine and 3.2% malt liquor licenses, subject to the receipt of the necessary documents. And representatives from Ichiddo Ramen could not be here this evening. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
All right, any questions? If not, we will go ahead and open the public hearing for item 5B. Anyone who would like to speak to this item? Anyone who would like to speak to item 5B? One last opportunity. We'll close the public hearing, and I would take a motion to adopt this resolution.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Grendall and a second from Councilmember Melander. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that item carries as well. And we'll move on to 5C, which is Super World Buffet.
Super World Buffet LLC, doing business as Super World Buffet, has submitted an application for an on-sale 3.2% malt liquor license. The license is for premises located at 15050 Cedar Avenue, Suite 111. The reason for the application is the restaurant is under new ownership. The restaurant is currently operating and seats approximately 250 people. The application indicates the new owner is Wen Fa Wu. Section 111 of 24 of the City Code requires all applicants for an on-sale malt liquor license to have a public hearing prior to the issuance of the license. On July 13th, City Council set the public hearing for this evening. Proper notice was posted and published in the city's official newspaper, and the affidavit of publication is currently on file. No comments have been received from the public to date, and the police and fire departments have completed the necessary background and site investigations and find no reason the license cannot be authorized at this time. There are two items before the council this evening. First, the public hearing, and then second, pending comments from the public or questions from the council. Action on the resolution authorizing issuance of the on-sale 3.2% malt liquor license, subject to the receipt of the necessary documents. Representatives from Super World Buffet could not be here this evening. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
All right, once again, any questions? You must be explaining it well. We have no questions. So we will go ahead and open the public hearing for item 5C. Anyone who would like to speak to this item? Anyone who would like to speak to item 5C? One last opportunity. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing, and we look for a motion to adopt the resolution to approve the issuance of the 3.2% malt liquor license.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Goodwin, a second from Councilmember Bergman. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That item carries. Stephanie gets a break. We'll move on to item 5D. And Kathy has this one.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Good evening.
City Council. Pointe LLC is the petitioner of this request. And I better turn on my. They own the 21.3 acre former Apple Valley Golf Course on the northwest corner of Garden View Drive and 140th Street. They received preliminary plat approval. Tim?
Yeah, is it not working? There you go.
Nope, it is. Thanks. They received preliminary plat approval in 2021 and final plat approval 2023. As part of the platting, the Phase 2 area was set aside and platted as Outlot A. So what is being requested is conducting a public hearing to receive comments concerning the proposed vacation of drainage and utility easements over Outlot A. So in effect, what happened was the second phase was set up as Outlot A, the lots, the blocks, the ponds, everything. And it was just easier to set that up and then do a blanket easement. Pointe is now moving forward with the second phase of their project, and in order to move forward, they need to vacate easements, the blanket easement, and then which will be reestablished with the new plat. So Outlot A then covers the two sides of the plat. To consider a vacation request, the city reviews whether the public grounds or easement area serve a public purpose. In this case, the easements will be replaced by a follow-up plat. So this evening, what we are requesting is simply to hold the public hearing and no further action. And then when the plat comes in for the second edition, then that will come in and take care of those easements. So with that, I could stand for questions if there are any.
All right, do we have questions for Kathy? I don't see any, so I think we can go ahead and open the public hearing and take any comments that might be here. Thanks, Kathy. We'll go ahead and open the public hearing for item 5D. Anyone who would like to speak to this item? Anyone who would like to speak to 5D? One last opportunity. We'll close the public hearing. I think that wraps us up for this item for this evening. So thank you, Kathy. We'll move on to 5E, which is a public hearing on a temporary drawdown of Long Lake Public Water Body 19002200. And Jessica and Samantha, please go on up.
This one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Today I'm here before you to talk about the temporary drawdown of Long Lake. We have a presentation.
Technical difficulty.
Once like technical difficulty, we'll pause for a second. We're just fine on time.
Where is it?
Bring Bruce back for this.
Is it in?
Just one number.
Yeah, cool.
Maybe some dramatic music or something.
Where's Charles? Get the band out, Charles.
I know we've got a couple items from Looks like Matt's also busy working on this. I say we could take a couple of the staff items if we need a little more time to, and then come back to this one.
Where's Charles?
I'm not sure one more person's gonna help up there right now.
Charles, the IT guy, though. Get
Okay, hold on.
Where's Charles?
He's here. He's
Back there.
We got it.
Oh, there he is. Doesn't matter. Which one? Will that work?
Thank you, everyone, for your patience.
Yeah, no worries.
All right, so to get on with this, today we are here before you to talk about the 2023 temporary partial drawdown of Long Lake. And so let's see here. So what is this drawdown? In 2009, the city installed a drawdown pipe to help do a temporary drawdown of Long Lake. So with that, it's basically just a pipe that is in Long Lake. We open a valve, and that actually causes the lake to draw down. Here we have the minimum drawdown elevation, and this is the fourth drawdown since the installation in 2009. So we did one in the 2009-2010 period, 2013, 2014, 2018, 2019, and then this one today. This year, rather. So what are the statute requirements? We have a public waters permit application that's required. We're able to just renew our existing permit to do that. We have a Department of Natural Resources review. And then we need to have a minimum of 75% of support by riparian owners, or 19 of 22 is what we have today, which is 86%. And then we also have to have a public hearing, so here we are. What are the drivers for this? Long Lake's an impaired water, and in 2017, we did an implementation plan update to what's called the total maximum daily load. And what that is, that's both an equation and a report that basically outlines why a water body is impaired. One of the items in that implementation plan was to do temporary drawdowns of Long Lake to help improve water quality. And the factors affecting that include curly-leaf pondweed, which is an aquatic invasive species, and then rough fish. So by doing this drawdown, we're mimicking a natural drought, and the idea is that we're going to try to kind of freeze the curly-leaf pondweed and the rough fish as part of this winter drawdown. So what does this look like? Basically, we will receive a permit from the DNR, and by September 15th, we'll open a valve, and then we pretty much just monitor the drawdown. With the valve, it does require us to just make sure that debris isn't getting caught in that, so there is a little bit of maintenance, but otherwise it's just naturally flows into Farquhar Lake. What to expect? So here are a couple photos of when the drawdown was occurring last time, or in previous history. So you can just kind of see there still is water that would remain in the lake, and then here you kind of just see photos of historic fence posts that were in the water that may have hinted at previous historic low water levels in the lake. So what happens after we complete this drawdown? Basically, we'll close the valve and the lake will refill naturally. We have approximately 950 acres that ultimately drain into Long Lake. And so historically, we've had refill dates. And the refill basically just means once it reaches the outlet of Long Lake. So historically, that occurred June 10th in the 2009-2010 drawdown, April 28th in the 2013-2014 drawdown, and March 10th in the 2018-2019 drawdown. Ahead of the drawdown, we'll also be looking at fish surveys. So we just had a fish survey completed on Long Lake and then some of the surrounding ponds, which are present with these little goldfish here. And we've also seen reports of goldfish in the lake. So here we have a swarm of goldfish that was actually present in Long Lake in the spring of this year. Goldfish are carp, a type of carp, and so their feeding habits, they tend to root around in the sediment, which can suspend that sediment into the water column, which causes decreases in water clarity. In addition, we're looking to control curly-leaf pondweed. So we do aquatic plant surveys ahead of the drawdown, and then we'll also do one after the drawdown as well. And so curly-leaf pondweed is an issue because it tends to grow actually under the ice in the winter, and then when it dies off midsummer, it can contribute additional phosphorus into the water column. So it's something that we try to control through chemical treatments, and then this drawdown is also another way to kind of freeze that curly leaf in place. Because we had such a heavy winter this past year, curly leaf was down pretty much across the board on our lakes. And our most recent survey also showed that curly leaf was down, so we're kind of setting ourselves up to really attack the curly leaf this year. It's important to note no lake has ever gotten rid of curly leaf pondweed. It just requires a lot of management, and who knows, maybe with this drawdown we can be the first. So this pairs nicely with the different investments we've actually made in the watershed. A drawdown is a good tool for dealing with the internal loading of nutrients within a lake, but we've also done a lot to deal with the external load. So here's just a map of different projects that we've done over time. The orange represent different completed projects in the Long and Farquhar watershed, and then the yellow are things that we have been studying and looking at for additional improvements to that watershed. So some recent projects, we did the Johnny Cake Ridge Road reconstruction, and that included a number of different basins along the roadway. And then one of the probably most efficient projects that we installed was an iron enhanced sand filter in Long Lake Park, which is just present right here. With that, I will open it up for any comments or questions.
Any comments or questions from council? All right, if not, we will, excuse me. Is our item to just, oh, I'm sorry, no.
So these goldfish, are they natural there, or are people putting them in there? How does this work?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's our understanding that they probably have just been from people releasing the goldfish.
No.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. So we're going to have a public hearing tonight. There is no action required. This is just a public hearing, correct? Wonderful, thank you. So we'll go ahead and open the public hearing on item 5E. Is there anyone who would like to speak to this item? Anyone who would like to speak to 5E? Come on up, sir. Do you mind stating your name and address just for the record? As you come up so everybody can hear you. I should have said that first.
Paul Habiger, 5597 133rd Street Court, Apple Valley. I live on Long Lake. I'm also the president of the Long Lake Watershed Association. So I'd just like to make 2 points in favor of the drawdown and really just piggybacking on things that Sam's already said. She talked about the importance of this TMDL study. That's kind of the foundation. It's almost like a strategic plan. It's guiding our actions for over a 10-year period. The city and the Lake Association has been busy trying to make sure we focus on these. Some are repetitive, some are one time. The drawdown obviously is every 5 years. But I just, because of the fact that it's so easy to move past that. Okay, that's the plan, let's move on. I just want to refresh everybody's memory of how thorough that process was. We had an alphabet soup of organizations and stakeholders involved in this process. We had the DNR, we had the Pollution Control Agency, we had Bowser, which is my favorite acronym, and I can't even remember all the letters, Water, Soil, Resources. We had Vermilion River Powers, we had Dakota County, we had, of course, the city of Apple Valley with a couple of representatives, Susan Allen, the vice president of Long Lake Watershed Association, and myself. So it was a lot of people, a lot of organizations that had a vested interest in making sure that this was done well. It was a 59-page report, which I thought was impressive until I saw the agenda packet for tonight's council meeting. Yeah. I think you guys weighed in at 173, which is also impressive. But in other words, there's a lot of credibility behind this report. And I think there was like 30 action items that we were supposed to work on. The drawdown is one. It's a very powerful action item. But, you know, sometimes the bigger the action item, the bigger the benefit. And one thing that I wanted to just point out is that there were 5, I don't want to get, I mean, hey, I think you referred to it as an equation. You know, if you do A, B, and C, you hopefully get outcome X, Y, and Z. Well, in this case, you'd have to use the whole alphabet because there's about 30 action items that the plan is suggesting. But the X, Y, Z, what we're hoping to get out of it, there were 5 main improvements that the report is really stating. Reducing phosphorus, reducing algae blooms, increasing water quality, managing aquatic plants, and managing the fish population. And one of the things, and I went through them all, I went through the report to refresh myself. One of the things that's really impressive about the drawdown, even though it's a big deal, and yeah, you know, there's, as lake owners, we would rather be looking at a full lake, but it's almost like you have to take some medicine sometimes in order to get healthy, even though the medicine doesn't taste well. The Long Lake drawdown, the partial drawdown, is the only of the 30 recommendations that addresses all 5 of the benefits. It's going to reduce sediment phosphorus, reduce algae blooms, increase water clarity, manage aquatic plants, and manage the fish population. So we are in favor of it. I'm in favor of it. The city has been great at partnering with the water. It's been a great partnership. And again, it's every 5 years. It's intentional. In fact, again, not to go too far back in history, but there was a previous TMDL study that was only a 5-year window, and that was in 2009. The recommendation there was a 3-year drawdown period. And I think because of a compromise situation, because again, it's prettier to look at it like it looks in that picture as opposed to the ones that Sam showed, but the water is still there. You know, some of the shoreline is exposed. We think it's worth the medicine to take in order to keep the lake healthy long term. Thank you.
Great. And thank you for stepping up, right? This is a volunteer gig for you, I have a feeling, right? And there's some time involved, so we appreciate that too. So, any other comments on this item? One last opportunity. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And Sam, thank you for the presentation.
Yes, thank you.
That moves us on to staff and council communications. And Tom, I know we've got a couple items.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, we'd like to have our Public Works Director, Matt Som, come up and update you on 2 important items. So,
thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. I think we figured out our technical difficulties, so thanks, Jim. Yeah, the first, and this unfortunately is now becoming an annual occurrence. I'm coming before you all to let you know we're once again in a drought here. Surprise, surprise. So I just had a little information to share with the council and the public on that. So this is a map before you of the state, of course, and encircled in black is our Dakota County. You can see that we're in this kind of, I'll call it orange, D2 severe drought phase, and that was accurate as of last Thursday, August the 3rd. So we did get official communication from the DNR that they're, because of this, placing us in what they're calling the drought warning phase. What that basically does is it requires us to reduce our water usage by just over 50% from our previous month's usage. And I provided the numbers there just to show you all and the public. In July, we used on average 11.5 million gallons per day. So to cut it by over 50%, they want us down to 5.25 million gallons a day. And then so folks might ask, well, what's the city doing to address this? Well, a few things. We're at our most popular, I think, splash pad, Kelly Park, we're reducing those hours down to 11 to 7. We're also reducing irrigation at all of our facilities and parks within the city. And then we're working with the school district. They're also a big user of water, irrigating ball fields, so we're working with them. Bigger businesses, and then HOAs, who also, homeowners associations, who also have a large chunk of land in the city that they irrigate. So trying to work with them to all about reducing lawn irrigation. And then, of course, we're not the only ones, though. There's a lot of other property owners and residents in town. So what we'd be asking of them is if they could also look at reducing their lawn irrigation, again, by that 50%, which the DNR is asking of us. And then just a couple of facts or reminders for people. In the summer, our usage, when we look at how much water we use in January compared to July, we're more than triple. So, and what is that? A lot of it is, or all of it, you might say, is irrigation. That's where that increase is. So that's the important thing that we really want to try to reduce. And then just as a reminder to everybody, whether we're in a drought or not, we do have watering restrictions in place from May through September, and that's no irrigation between 11 to 6 daily. Again, that expires the end of September. Couple other things people can do, swap the hose for a broom if folks typically like to spray off their driveway, sediment and other things. Put the hose down and grab a broom and try to sweep that stuff up, and then put it in your trash. One other thing folks can do is look to sign up. It's free. You can sign up via our website with our Water Smart portal. What that'll do is it allows residents to set alerts to show them when they have water spikage, which is usually an indication of you got a leak somewhere, a toilet running or something like that. So that's something for free that people can sign up for. Then I have one other update or information to get out to people. Thanks, Tim. Just last week in our city, we opened a organics drop-off site. This is through a partnership with Dakota County. Again, it opened last Tuesday, August 1st. It is located at our Central Maintenance Facility, or CMF. I have the address on the screen, 6442 140th. It's basically located just across the street, just west of Eastview High School. And on this map, you can see an aerial of the site. We're at the southwest corner of 140th and Flagstaff, and then the organics drop-off location is right here. So I would say the easiest driveway to use is our Flagstaff driveway, and I just saw somebody come in today when I was leaving CMF to drop off their organics. It's open daily from 5 a.m. to 10. Got a couple more pictures here. This is just a somewhat aerial shot of the existing pad. We got a nice new fence enclosure there. Again, it is for residential organics only, so no commercial, no businesses or restaurants are to be going there. And it's free to sign up, so people could call Dakota County, phone number there, 952-891-7557, or email organics@co.dakota.mn.us. Again, free to sign up. The county will send you out a welcome kit, and there are free bags that they'll initially send out. You fill up those bags, you bring them there, and then we've got free bags on a roller right inside. I've frozen up here. Right inside the right side of the enclosure, there's a free bags that people can get when they drop off their old ones. So just wanted to get the word out on the organics drop-off site. Happy to take any questions, of course.
Councilmember Grendel has a question.
Thanks. So, Matt, what are the ramifications if we don't have the reduction of 50% in water usage?
Back on the, on the water item. There are no penalties per se right now, but of course, if water usage continues at the current rate and the drought continues, it puts further risk at our groundwater aquifers. So the idea is we're all in this together. We all obviously need clean water, so let's all work together to reduce the usage.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Any other questions for Matt? Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next item is the calendar of upcoming events. Our next regular city council meeting is Thursday, August 24th at 7 p.m. Do we have a motion to approve the calendar of upcoming events?
Second.
Motion from Councilmember Grendel, a second from Councilmember Bergman. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that carries, and that's the last item. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Goodwin and a second from Councilmember Grendel. All those in favor? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, we're adjourned. Thank you.